Good day and welcome to Signs You Need to Quit Your Job live stream. Thank you very much for joining me in for today's session. It is an interesting topic because, as you know, a long time steady job is never an excuse for tolerating certain work conditions or certain work environments, because your well-being should always be above that. And it doesn't mean that you should be abandoning jobs whenever a situation gets tough or any challenge arises. That's not it, not at all. But if a situation is taking toll on your emotional and physical health, then this is definitely the right time to move forward towards a more promising opportunity. If we haven't met before, I'm Marat from EMMOTION, myemotion.com. Look me up on LinkedIn. And I've been working in HR and in recruitment for over 14 years. Most of you know that. And on this channel, I help and contribute to your professional growth, to your professional growth, like acing your job interviews, gaining confidence as a professional, learning to deal with corporate politics and with difficult situations at work without losing your focus and without giving up your goals, of course. So go ahead and say hello in the chat. I'll be saying hello right back very shortly. In some of my previous streams, I had a few technical difficulties, so if it is all working fine, if you hear me well, if you see me well, please give the video a thumb up, and this way I am reassured that there are no issues with the stream. In this video, I'll be sharing 7 key signs that you might need to quit your job and a few tips to quit it the right way at the end of the stream. So let me say hello right back. M. Summer, hello. My Reach Life, I know I need to quit my job. I just need to do it. Okay, so let's see what you are going to tell after this stream. Let me know. Marie, so good to see you. Big hello, Marie. Hope your training is going well. A little left already. Gabrielle Steers, hello from Ohio. Hello, right back from Barcelona. Adza, hello, hi. Good to see you guys. So let me continue back to the subject. So if you have any questions, as always, before finishing the stream, I'll be responding to your questions. Regarding the current stream, I've been receiving a lot of questions and I've been receiving a lot of comments about difficult situations at work, about tough situations that were not necessarily related to with the position itself, but more with an environment, more with the management, the colleagues, etc. So I know a lot of people are facing difficult situations and similar situations that we are going to discuss, and it's definitely hard to make this decision of quitting, of changing jobs, but nothing is more emotionally draining and even physically draining than tolerating a job that you hate, that you like. And as I said, you are definitely not alone. That said, it doesn't mean, as I already mentioned, it doesn't mean that we should be giving up on a position that might be attractive, that we enjoy, and that we might give up jobs that are actually positive for our career, and some of the challenges can be worked out. But if the role is unhealthy for you to be at, if you really think that this is unhealthy for you, I can honestly tell that a steady job is not excuse. It's a really bad excuse for tolerating certain environment, a toxic work environment. No matter how much you need the job, you can't tolerate that. I had some related videos on this subject, and some of your stories and some of your opinions were really insightful, were really helpful, and that is why I decided to make a live stream and to go deeper into this subject, to actually be able to respond to your questions. If you found yourself in a similar situation, please go ahead and let me know, leave a comment. It will be very interesting to hear your story, and I will try to help you out with some advice as much as I can. Now, realizing that it's time to walk away is challenging. I stayed at a job which I didn't really enjoy anymore, so I know exactly how it feels, and I wish I would have had that advice and that extra knowledge that helps you analyze the signs and to recognize that it's time to move on. And this is also the reason that I would like to discuss this further, that I decided to make a live stream and a full live stream on this, because if you need to quit your job, there are actually ways also to do it the right way. Okay, now let's go to the signs that would indicate that this is the right time for you to leave. Sign number one, and I think this is definitely the most important sign, and this is the most frequent sign, because when your boss is toxic and when your boss is making you feel miserable, this is a sign to consider. Employees don't leave companies. You've all heard this, and you all know this, that the employees don't leave companies. Employees leave bad managers. They leave managers, and 75% of 10,000 workers questioned who voluntarily left their jobs said that they have left because of their bosses, not because of the position itself. So it's clear that people leave managers. Working for a bad manager, for a bad boss, is the number one motivator that would decide to look for other opportunities. It could be that you were a top performer in the past, but you have a new boss, or you change the company, and suddenly you are constantly being blamed for everything, and you are made feel like you are a failure, like nothing you do is good enough. I've been there, and I know how it feels. I know how much pressure it is, so you start questioning your self-worth, and it does affect your career, and not just your career, but your life in general, and not in a good way. So, as I said, I've experienced toxic management. I've seen managers that throw employees under the bus in public and in front of other employees and even other managers. So this happens because some of the managers, unfortunately, some people rise to leadership positions and they have no emotional intelligence. They demonstrate very poor leadership traits within the company, and seems like nobody is doing anything about it. So a good leader, because a good leader would never be demeaning to you in front of your peers or in front of any other people in an organization. A good leader would actually provide you with feedback, with the follow-up, help you improve your performance without really crushing your motivation or your will to do better. So if that's not the case, a poor and toxic leader will instead give you feedback in an awful manner, will even bully you in front of your colleagues. Bad leader would really want you to quit right on the spot, and they will completely dismiss your ideas. They will be dealing with you with a constant criticism. So imagine if you tried different way of interacting with them more effectively. If you really tried to work it out with your manager, but this is not working, even though you adjusted your behavior, you've tried to be positive about it, you've tried to basically you've done everything to be a better employee and to work out your issues with your manager, but nothing is changing. The relationship continues to be toxic. This means that you are you are not the first person to quit your job due to a toxic boss. You should stop expecting your boss to change. You should stop expecting them to appreciate your work. It's not going to happen. Instead, actually, it's going to get worse. Instead, it's going to be more complicated. You are going to be more emotionally involved and more vulnerable. That's why number one sign to quit your job, number one sign when it's time to say goodbye to your position is due to toxic management, due to bad management. Now, sign number two, let's proceed to the sign number two. Sign number two is when you are actually bringing this bad energy, when you're actually bringing this toxic energy into your home. And not only you are affected yourself, it's not just you, but your loved ones are also affected. Your family, your circle of friends are being affected. Because when you are suffering emotionally, or even physically, you definitely show it. It shows. There is your family and friends perceive changes in your attitude, perceive that you are constantly strained, perceive that even your physical appearance might change. And sometimes you even need to go on medication to deal with so much stress or with such a bad work environment. Unfortunately, this happens to a lot more people that we imagine. If it's currently happening to you, as I said, you are not the first person to experience this. Because unfortunately, when we start a new job, when we see a new job, when we start a new job, we can never be 100% sure about the company culture. We can never be sure about the internal dynamics within the company. You only know what is going on with managers, with workers, with colleagues. Once you've joined the team, once you are part of the team, once you are working there. So as soon as you've realized that the environment is toxic and it is affecting you, you should already be looking for a change. As I said, toxic boss or toxic work setting will make your job unbearable and will make you feel less confident and more miserable. So this is the sign number two, when this bad energy actually is getting to you. Number three, the sign number three is when you dread going to work. This is definitely a bad sign. If you go to sleep every night dreading the next day of work, or if you even wake up in the middle of the night thinking about work, about something that you've forgotten, something that your manager might or might not like, something that really wants you to stay home and never go back to your job position. If you feel that going to your job is deeply unsatisfying, and if you have no desire of being there, if you hate your job, follow your gut and quit and start looking for other opportunities. It's completely normal to have certain complaints about your job, to have situations that might be unpleasant, but it doesn't mean if you deeply dread your job, if you deeply dread those 8 hours at work, then it's completely different story, and it's time to put your 2 weeks notice. Now the next step, the step number 4, is when you are stressed out. When you are stressed out, when you are burned out, you've come into the office, it's dark. When you leave your office, it's dark again, and sometimes you even continue working on the weekends when you don't really remember what being outside in the street and enjoying a daylight feels like, when you feel like your company is completely understaffed and is even chronically understaffed and it doesn't change eventually you are going to get burned out. You constantly feel tired, and you constantly you sleep less, you work more, you feel tired, and you even struggle to get a full night of sleep. This is a sign that you need to move forward. When you feel stressed and overloaded at work, let me tell you, these are some of the symptoms that might show. It's when you lose your appetite, when you suddenly gain weight or lose weight. Of course, a loss of sleep and sleepless nights as well is going to affect you immediately. Another way of detecting this would be if you've completely lost interest in your hobbies or in your family members, or if in doing things that you enjoy, in spending time with people that you love. This might be a sense of an anxiety. You might be going through anxiety, and it's not the physical manifestation are going to appear very soon, like changing your physical appearance, start to lose your hair, and as I said, the weight difference. This is going to go further and further. Aside from complete lack of motivation, aside of not being motivated, you will actually be damaging your health, and being burned out, being stressed out means that you need to think no more and leave. Okay, so continuing to the next sign, continuing to the sign number 5. The next signs are going to be lighter. It doesn't mean that they are not important enough, but they might be, these signs might be easier to manage, let's say, like when there is no room for advancements. If you've been in your position for many years, if you've been doing your job very well for a long time, but there are no opportunities for you to grow, it's actually getting harder not to think about promotion, not to think and not to question, why am I not getting promoted? Why am I not getting to towards the next step? Why I can't move forward in my role? If these things are coming into your mind, if these things are crossing your mind, this means that it's time to make this step, because a company that is not supporting your career progress, a company that is not helping you grow and not, let's say, not giving you opportunities to do more and to, unless you don't want it, of course. If you don't want any career growth, that's a different story. But if you actually want and look forward to growing professionally, but the company doesn't give you an opportunity, this might mean that you stayed for too long in the role, and it's time to check some other options and to move on. That is why if you are experiencing this, if you are experiencing that there is no room for advancement, go ahead and make the step. Go ahead and leave. Okay, so this was the sign number 5. Number 6 is also a sign that when you are stuck in your comfort zone, if you feel that you are bored at work, if you feel that you are stuck in your comfort zone and you can do your job with your eyes closed. Let me see, I have a comment from Sparky Themes. Hi Marat, love your work, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I hope if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me. And I see that Marie is telling me as well, I was in this situation not long ago and I found Marat's channel. Thank you so much, Marie. Listen to this beautiful man. I couldn't be more grateful for his help. And I couldn't be more grateful to you as well for your kind words. As I said, it's complicated to manage this situation by yourself. You really need to hear some external opinion. You really need to seek different opinions and seek some outside vision, because it's going to help you analyze your situation better, and it's going to help you be stronger in this current situation, because when you've been in similar jobs for a long time, your confidence is declining, and it's really difficult to make that step unless somebody encourages you. So that is definitely a step for you to take, to listen to somebody else's advice, to hear somebody else's story, and of course learn from your own mistakes as well. So Sparky Themes, Marie and Renante, good to see you as well here. Thank you for watching me from Philippines. Okay, continuing to the step 6. If you are bored at work, if you are stuck in your comfort zone and you can do your job with your eyes closed, this means that it's time for you to make the step as well, because you are too comfortable, you are not learning anything new, you think about your job and you feel like nothing is changing, everything is a constant routine. The comfort zone leads to laziness. I always tell this is why I always encourage my friends, my family, people that I coach, get out of your comfort zone, because staying in your comfort zone, when everything feels comfortable, everything feels secure for too long, we become lazy. And when we become lazy, it means that we are not going to get, it doesn't mean that we should be moving mountains, that is not it, but learning things, doing small things that make a change and that really improve the quality of your time at work, or the quality of your not just professional life, but your personal life as well. When we are stuck in a routine, we stop enjoying things. So, as I said, stepping out of your comfort zone is going to lead to professional growth, is going to lead you to professional growth, and is going to lead you to optimal performance, is going to lead you to happier life. So when you find yourself in a situation that everything is easy, that doing your job doesn't really cost you any effort anymore, it's time to make a move. Okay, sign number 7. Sign number 7 would be if you are, okay, I see that I have a question in here from Atsa. I quit my job because of my bad boss. How can I answer, why did you leave your last job, without being negative? Okay, that's a good question. I will be responding right after I finish the going through these signs, but it's an interesting question. Sign number 7, if you don't share the company's values, if you feel like this doesn't match with your values, maybe it matched before, maybe before you felt like your company was a place to be, but not anymore. Sometimes it even happens when we discover that a company is doing something that we don't share. Sometimes we discover that the company even does something illegal, and it doesn't have to be something huge. When a company can do illegal things, when they, for example, fire certain people under certain circumstances which are not legal, not all the employees will be dealing with this. Not all the employees would want to fight the company in this. They just let go, and they don't face the company. They don't really want to do to take this to court and to really go further with. Let me tell you that I've seen companies fire people after returning from maternity leave, and that is completely illegal in so many countries. So whenever you see that, and you see that the company is not is doing something illegal, is doing something that you can't accept and you can't really be comfortable with, maybe it's time to leave as well, because some of the decisions they make seem far from your own thinking. Some of the decisions they make might be embarrassing. Aside, some of the decisions that they might make might be illegal. So it's complicated to look forward to this project, to a certain promotion, to your growth within the company, if you feel that your company is not a place to be, doesn't share your values, doing illegal things. Sometimes you might even report it. If you've reported something illegal to HR or to your management and nothing is being done, nothing is changing, this means that the company is not going to change. This means that everybody knows it, everybody is silent about it, nothing is being done. This kind of environment will damage you, will damage your career, and will damage your own perception of yourself. You might even think less of yourself because the company doesn't represent you. The company doesn't represent your core values. As I said, okay, I see a few questions in here. How can I answer? Why do you like this job? Okay. M. Summer is asking, should I tell the HR that my boss was horrible during my exit interview, or should I just say thank you and nothing else? Okay, Gabrielle's tears. The FMLA relatation is not good. Hit an employee when they support the most make it even worse. They will pay me for this. They don't care, but my attorney likes this. You see, a lot of people experience such situations. Some companies might even be used to use certain people. Like there are certain companies that decide to hire only employees of a certain age or of a certain sexes or even origins, which is completely illegal, but they do it and nobody stops them from doing it. You can't really know that unless you are within the company and you see a certain pattern. So this is why what I say, when you see something like that, report it. When you report it internally, nothing is being done. Report it externally, but it already means that you will need to leave the company because this is not a place for you to be at. So also, as I said, certain environments, they take an advantage of employees when they are young, when they have a lot of energy, and then give up on them and fire them some years later. If you've seen that happen to other people within your organization, it means it is going to happen to you eventually. So definitely a sign for you to leave. Okay, I've mentioned 7 signs, but there is also another sign which is something worth mentioning. It's more technical, but watch out for it. If your company keeps firing and reducing the staff, as I said, it will eventually get to you. Because if the company has done that to many people, to your colleagues, it will get to you as well. No matter how safe you might feel right now, no matter how safe it feels because you have a lot of projects, because you have a lot of responsibility, it is going to get to you. And I've seen that happen in many companies. I've seen that happen to many people. I even thought that this is something that might not happen to me, but it did. So if it happens to others, it's going to happen to you as well. So high turnover, company that keeps firing people, also a bad sign, also a sign that you need to go and that you need to leave this place. And as I said, it's never, if you feel identified, if you feel that these signs resonate with you, it's never the right time to walk away. but staying is definitely worse. Staying is definitely worse. Other situations might be when you are relatively happy, when you are actually happy at your jobs, you are happy at your job, but there are certain things that are not really working out well. But the importance of those things is not on the same level as the signs that we've discussed, because if you notice that there are things that the company does, or there are things that your team does that you need to discuss with them, that these small changes will make you more confident in the position, will make you perform your job better, and you are actually liking your job, maybe it's worth trying to fight for it and trying to solve this situation, to solve let's say these small issues that make your day-to-day more complicated. But if it's not the case, if it's something more important and more complicated, then quit. And also, when you quit, it's important to put aside some savings first. As I said before, you need to plan your exit strategy. You don't need to discuss it with HR too much, because toxic places don't really like constructive feedback. And if you've seen that they haven't done anything in different situations when other employees mentioned it, or if something that you've reported wasn't attended, wasn't listened, or no actions were taken, so it means that you don't need to take it to the next level anymore. You don't need to discuss it with HR anymore. Just take control of your career, take control of your life, break free, and leave the place. Because the bottom line and the most important thing is your well-being. Okay, so these are the signs. Now it's time to respond to your comments and to your questions. Let me go through the questions one by one. Okay, Atsa, the question that I quit my job because of a bad boss. How can I answer? Why did you leave your last job without being negative? Okay, when you are dealing with a toxic boss, with a bad boss, and the situation has been really complicated, and you eventually needed to leave, listen, what is important is not being negative on a job interview, or they realize it, because this is the way that you ask this question. You probably know that you can't be negative during your job interview. But what you should tell is the management and I had different opinions on certain things, or on certain ways of doing my job. So we decided that the best option and the best thing would be for me to part ways. This would work if you don't go too much into details. It might seem like a generic answer, but it's not, because you can really tell part of your story. If it's something that is not, that doesn't sound too personal, don't make it too personal. If you tell from the heart that, listen, I really enjoyed my job, my manager changed, or there was sudden promotion and a new manager came in, or my old manager, the one that hired me, left the company, and things changed at the department, no one is going to hold it against you. The hiring managers will completely understand it. So definitely make it as the less personal as possible. So I also have a why did you leave your last position video, which offers different general answers for different situations, which are going to be helpful. Actually, I provide exact answers on how to respond to the question, depending on what was your situation with your manager. Okay, so the next, if it's not clear, Atza, go ahead and type a further question, okay? I'm proceeding to the next question. How can I answer, why do you like this job? Okay, this question needs to have genuine answer. You need to be genuine and you need to be honest when responding to this question. If you do like the job, if you like the company, what they do, their product, their philosophy, their know-how, everything that you've seen or read so far, you have to be honest about it. Why do you like this position is actually a good question for you to show motivation. Show motivation, show that what the company does, their product, the way that they've treated you during the job interview, everything that you've seen about them was positive. Transmit it to them. Transmit this motivation and you will get the job. Okay? If you have further doubts, go ahead and ask. Okay, I see the next question from M. Summer. Should I tell the HR that my boss was horrible during my exit interview, or should I just say thanks and nothing else? As I said, good question. I've discussed something similar during this live stream. When the company, when the environment in the company is toxic, when nothing is being done about it, when you've seen people leave the company or you've seen people fired, when the turnover is really high, you know that there is no point of speaking to HR. Or if you know that the HR department really does their best to help the employees, if you've seen them do this before, you can discuss it with HR. My advice, from my experience, most of the time, the HR department will side with the manager. The HR department is always going to defend the company unless this manager had previous negative experiences, previous negative feedback from different colleagues or from even other managers. They might listen to you. But if you are alone on this, don't talk to HR about it. And during the exit interview, if you already know that everything is signed and you are ready to move, you know that you are switching jobs, you can tell things which are not personal. You can tell things that are, let's say, list all the facts that you've perceived, all the facts, how this boss was not professional, how this manager treated you or your colleagues, things that they've done that were out of line, without being personal, without getting emotional. Just leave it out there for HR during your exit interview. Don't get implicated yourself emotionally. Leave it out and leave. But only during the exit interview. I know you've asked about the exit interview, so if you are going to stay within the company, don't talk to HR about it. My advice, not to talk to HR unless you are ready to leave, unless you know that you are ready to leave the company. Okay, so let me proceed to the next question. Okay, Mark Blanco. Hello, Marat. My deadlines are unrealistic because of too much to do and many distractions come up. I get scolded in front of people. My boss placed me on PIP. I try to resolve any suggestions. If you've been placed on a performance improvement plan, it is a sensitive situation. It means that they are already preparing and documenting everything so they can fire you without the possibility for you to sue them. I would say if you already know that if the manager is not supportive, if you already know that the manager tries to get rid of you, look for another job as soon as you can. Check jobs, apply, send them your resume, go ahead and pull all the stops for you to get another job before getting fired. Because if you are placed on a performance improvement plan, it means that they've already given you a warning. It means that let's say they've done everything to help you out. So it's your last chance. If you haven't perceived that your manager wants to get rid of you, if you feel that your manager is supportive, there is a chance for you to actually complete the PIP successfully and return back to your normal role. But that doesn't happen very often. So this is why go ahead and look for another job. If you could give me any specifics, if you could give me any further information, I could be more specific. Okay, the next question. Hi Marat, let's say we left our job because of a toxic environment. Do you have any tips on explaining it to the employer when they asked why you left your previous job? Okay, it's a good question. I've covered something similar, but let me adapt it and be more specific when responding to it. If you've left the company due to toxic work environment, you can't mention it during the interview because they will not understand. The job interview is a short amount of time. It's a short amount of time where you can't really explain things in detail. They will only be guided and they will only perceive certain vibe from you and the responses to your questions. And if you actually start explaining that the environment was toxic or that your manager was toxic, they will immediately think that the issue was with yourself, that you didn't work hard or you didn't fit into the company, that you didn't get adjusted within the role. They might think that you were the bad apple, let's say. So don't mention it during your job interview. Never mention anything openly negative. But what you can say is the environment within the company changed due to restructuring or due to new management or due to changes within the department. Something technical and something that is not not emotional, something that is not personal, something completely neutral, you being confident responding to the question, they will definitely understand. But don't mention that you left because of a toxic boss or because of a toxic work environment. Okay, if you have a further question, go ahead and type it for me and I'll respond. Okay, next question. My rich life. Can it be beneficial to email my company CEO to make them aware of a toxic work environment? Okay, I would say no. It's I've seen situations when the whole department sided about 15 people. They've written an email or they've spoken to a CEO and nothing has been done. Because when it's between you and a management and when it's between you and your manager, when it's between you and your boss, they will always be siding with your boss. So remember that, and unless you are ready to give up the position completely, unless you are ready to move forward, unless you have another job lined up, don't mention anything to the CEO, at least from my advice. Of course, each situation is different. if you know the CEO, or if you have a certain relationship with the CEO that you've been in touch because of different projects, and you think that they might be supportive, that could be another story. But most of the times, when it's between you and your manager, they get sided with the manager. Be aware of that. Okay, let me know if that was enough of an answer, or if you would like to ask me something further. Okay. The next question: what should I do if I find out that my ex-employer is bad-mouthing me to my potential employer during a background check? You know, in most of the countries, it's illegal to give negative feedback about you. When they do a background check and they call your previous employer, it's actually illegal for them to tell negative things about you. Check if the legislation works the same way in your company, in your country. If it does, you can even sue your former company. But if in your country it's not working that way, basically you should just explain your current company that, depending on how long you've worked there, you could explain them, listen, I've left my job for this position, I've left my previous job for this position, I've done everything the right way, but the boss, my ex-boss, was just unhappy that I decided to leave the company. So they are making such comments, they're making negative comments because they can't handle the situation well. Okay. Okay, let me go ahead to the next question. Is it a bad idea for me to quit my job without having a new job lined up? I think it's completely normal to question this and to have these such kind of doubts. I think it's really important that you understand things can never be ideal, because no matter how hard you try, no matter how much effort you make, you can't overthink such kind of situations, because if you don't have another job lined up, but the company and the situation makes you feel bad, you feel unhealthy, you feel that this is not a place for you to be at, it doesn't mean that you need to have a new job lined up to quit your current job. But what I really want you to know, that certain amount of let's say a stable economical situation, enough money to stay afloat during about minimum of 6 months, is important while searching for a job. So because if you quit your job and it takes you some time to find a job, it's important for you to stay afloat. So I would say you can leave your job without having another job lined up. What you can't do is to leave your job without having any money to stay afloat during some time. Okay? Continuing to the next question. And I see that my rich life, that was a great answer. Thank you. You are very welcome. M. Summer, do you do professional orientation individually online by Skype? I do that. I do coaching sessions. So, and I have a website. I have a certain information on my website about it. And feel free to get in touch with me, to email me, and we can discuss it. Gabriel's tears. I love his answers. He knows his topic. Thank you very much. Gabriel's tears. Mark Blanco. Marat, I wear too many hats for 2 years. My boss started saying 2 months ago, I have enough time to improve, but I know it's too much. I have sat down to work together, but nothing improves. Mark, there you have your answer. If you've done all the efforts, if you've sat down a few times, if you've made an effort to change the situation, but nothing is helping, that things are not changing, things are not improving, you already have your answer. This is not going to change. You need to leave. Okay. Jasveer, thank you. I appreciate your input on this topic. Great. Let me proceed to the next question. Okay, the next question is, I'm not sure if I should quit my job. How can I know for sure if this is the right time? Okay, very related to what we've been discussing. You've probably heard me listing different reasons. You've probably heard me listing different reasons and signs, and it's really important for me to understand why you are not enjoying your job, or what is happening in your current job, why would you like to quit, because understanding your reasons will be helping me to focus more, and will be helping me to give a concrete response. Because if it's a pay, it might be because you are being paid not enough, boring work, bad manager, unfriendly colleagues, no career advancements. I think there are many different situations that we can discuss, like long commute. You should think about all the things that are negative in your current position, analyze them, and see if you can work them out. And of course, also understand and list for yourself all the things that are positive in your position. So it's quite easy. If the positive tops the negative, then it means that you should make an effort, and you could try to stay. If there is not much of a positive, if it's something that can't be fixed, if it's something that you can't do much about, then it means that you could give the step and leave your current job. Okay, let me know if this answer was clear. Okay, continuing further. Mark Blanco, thank you very much. I appreciate that, Mark. The next question is it okay to leave a new job after 3 months? Okay, this is something, I think it happens to many people, that sometimes we doubt, is it the right time for us to leave or not? Whether we need to stay at least 1 year. I've actually coached candidates that told me, listen, Marat, I know that I need to stay at least 1 year in my position to find another job. This is not right. Don't think like that. This is, I would say, you are very wrong. There is no minimum amount of time to stay at a job, especially in current situation, especially in 21st century, when things are moving so fast, when we've just had a recent pandemic. The importance of a well-being at work is even more is more of a priority right now than it was before. So you don't need to stay at least for 3 months. You don't need to stay at least for 1 year. If you are not happy in your current job, leave. If you are not happy with your current job, if you've searched for another job and nothing is coming up, but you know that you have a certain amount of money to be afloat for some time, leave. Another thing, if your financial situation is delicate, let's say, if it's complicated for you to stay afloat for some time and look for a job, you might consider some time. You might consider giving it some time in your company while you are searching for a job. But if, as I said, if there are no positive changes, if things are not changing for better within your role, it means that you are ready to leave the company. Okay, so let me continue further. Gabrielle Steers, what is your idea on keeping a job for the medical insurance? I need another operation in a few months. Once I get the medical treatment, I'm ready to quit. Gabrielle's tears, I think it's a very fair situation. This is exactly what I was referring to when I was telling if you need to stay afloat for some time and you know that there is a deadline. What is important is for you to define a deadline, because it is going to make your survival in your current company a lot easier, because you know that this is a temporary situation, that you are going to leave as soon as you get this medical treatment. I think it's completely fair. I think you can, just like the company uses the employees for certain reasons, the employee can use the company for other reasons. So it's a fair situation. As long as you define this deadline, it's going to be a lot easier for you to deal with this situation as well. Okay, let me know if you need me to elaborate further. Okay, I'm continuing to the next question. Okay, my company offered me a raise. I said I was going to resign. When I said I was going to resign, what should I do? Should I leave or should I stay? Okay, this sounds like a song. Should I leave or should I stay? Raise. When you get offered a raise, when you are leaving, when you would like to leave your company, and they are never, some companies really want to fight further for employees, and some companies don't really like to take no for an answer. So especially if you are leaving to a competition, there are companies that might make you a counter offer. They would offer you a raise, they would offer you better conditions, better benefits in exchange for you to stay. Okay, my experience, you want my honest experience? Not a good idea. Why? Because I've worked in recruitment and in HR for many years. I've worked as a corporate HR and recruiter and even HR manager. So I've seen counteroffers, and eventually people leave anyway, because certain situations can be handled. This extra money, this new bonus, or this new conditions are going to cheer you up for a certain amount of time, but your core situation is not going to change. And as I said, money is not bringing us happiness, and anyone who is telling otherwise is mistaken. Eventually, they will realize that they are mistaken. What is important is your well-being. So when you want to leave a job and you actually have a job lined up in a competition, it means something is broken in your current job. It means that things are not going to be the same. So even when I actually have some statistics about it, and statistics say that 80% of candidates that receive and accept a counteroffer end up leaving within the 6 months, and 90% of candidates who accept a counteroffer leave their current employer within 12 months. So as I said, this is not going to change. You will eventually want to leave. So no amount of money is going to make it more attractive, maybe more bearable during a certain amount of time, for some time, and extra money will motivate you, or extra bonus is going to motivate you for some time, but it's definitely not going to last for too long. Okay, let me know if that is enough, or if you would like me to elaborate further. Okay, continuing to the Gabrielle's tears. That is the answer I needed. Thank you. You are very welcome, and I hope everything goes well. I hope you manage to get the medical treatment, and that you will be able to quit your job with another job lined up. In any case, I hope to see you around. Okay, the next question. If you already told your employer you are leaving, then leave. You already made it clear that you aren't going to stick around. They won't treat you the same. Absolutely. I believe I completely agree with everything you are saying, and this is completely right, because you've already exposed your desire to leave. They are making you a counter offer because they don't want you to go to a competition, but the trust, a certain amount of trust, let's say, is broken. Nothing is going to be the same anymore. And as I said, the extra motivation which comes from this, let's say, money or anything else which you've been offered, is not going to last for too long. You will eventually end up leaving the company, or you might even get fired, because sometimes it's more about the ego, especially when it comes to complicated managers. It's more about their ego. They can't accept you leaving for another position, so they want to have the last word. They will make you an offer, they will convince you to stay, but they will eventually turn their back against you because the trust is broken, and they know that you've been looking for a job before. So what stops you from looking for a job again and from leaving again? Think about that. Okay. Yes, I believe they know that you are not committed to the job. I got a better offer and stayed. A year later, the company went broke. You see? Situations that happen. If you have another offer lined up, leave. Don't accept the counter offer. Okay, so let me continue to the next question. The next question is, my boss stopped talking to me after I resigned from my job. Why do bosses take resignations personally? This is actually an interesting question. I can't tell you why the bosses take it personally, to be honest. But if your boss stopped talking to you after you resigned, this shows a certain amount of immaturity. Actually, I don't know if your relationship with your boss was negative before. What was the let's say relationship between you guys? But not a good sign. If they stop talking to you, it means they've taken your decision to leave personally, and it means that they are not mature enough. It means that they are not professional enough, or maybe you had a very close relationship, and in this case, it's understandable. They've been attached to you. They know that you are hardworking. They know that you are very professional. So this might be the case. Okay? If you have any further questions, go ahead and ask me. And let me see if I have another question. No. Okay, so far seems like I've responded to everything. Okay, I believe when not to accept an offer, look up for their Google reviews, and if they are not good, and also if you had a bad experience as a customer, you won't have a good experience as a worker. Completely agree with you. Okay, then let me say hello again. M. Summer, My Rich Life, Marie, Gabrielle Steers, Asa, Villanuk, greeting from Thailand, right back from Barcelona. Sparky Themes, thank you very much. Renante, Negeswar, M. Summer, Mark Blanco, Jasbir, thank you very much to all of you. And Vermont, Jeffrey, Oblieve, Allison, I have another question. Okay, let me see. Allison, do you think it's better to walk away from a toxic workplace rather than fight to change it? Allison, absolutely. I think there is nothing you can change about it. A toxic place is toxic for a reason, because if they've been operating this way for a while, or is a certain, let's say, if the management installed a toxic culture, usually toxic culture comes from above and it goes down from above. So if the management is toxic, if they've actually installed the toxic culture, there is nothing you can do about it. You will only be risking your own health. The best way for you to really the best way for you to really deal with this, the best way for you to really cope with this situation is to have a deadline decided, to have something to decide that this is not a place for you, that you will quit, and meanwhile, or you will change and you will leave to another job, and meanwhile you need this job to survive. If you put yourself into your survival mode, if you've changed your mindset and you see a job as something that you could use as well and get advantage of, just like, as I said, the company takes advantage of an employee. The employee can take an advantage of a company. So the employee needs to know that I'm staying just for 2 more months and then I'm off and I will leave. Or I'm staying just because of this reason for a certain deadline. As long as you have that deadline defined, it will make your survival in a toxic workplace a lot easier. Okay, so this is going to help you out. However, don't fight to change it, Allison. Okay, let me know if that was a clear response. If it's not, type me a further question. Let me see. The next question, Sparky Themes. Can you talk about coping mechanisms for dealing with toxic environment when you can't leave due to financial reasons? Okay, similar question. It's actually something that I've been wondering when I was in that situation, because my manager, my ex-manager, a toxic manager, came in a department as a department director, and everything changed since the moment. First, they fired my ex-director, who actually hired me, and this new manager joined in, and it was really complicated to deal with this person. The coping mechanisms, what helped me, as I said, what helped me in this case was to know that I'm going to leave, to know that I'm not going to stay in this situation. In my case, there was a lot more involved, and even the whole department was bullied and was belittled by this person. And we've actually been supportive to each other. We've actually helped each other to go through this situation. But I don't know which is your case. If you are alone in this, the best thing you can do is to stick to being professional, to be as professional as you can, to do your job the best way that you can, and to change your mindset, as I said, to think about the next step, to know that the next job is going to be a better place, to know that you will be giving a lot more effort, and you will be making you will be a lot more motivated in your next position. This is not your role. You are not planning to stay here. You are not planning to sacrifice more of your time and effort for this company. So all of that is going to help you to deal and to cope with the situation better. And I have this concrete video also on how to deal with a toxic boss. And I think it might even help you as well. Concrete tips on what to do. As to sum it up, it's important for you to know that this situation is temporary. Because if you feel that this is what you deserve, or let's say if you feel that there is no other choice, if you feel that there is no other exit strategy, nothing you can do about it, this is going to be completely demotivating for you to be going and to be living through such moment. So definitely put some deadlines, definitely start searching for another job, and of course financial reasons are important. This is why try to get, let's say, save some money, put some savings to make sure that when the moment comes, if you don't have another job lined up, but if your health is in danger, you can leave. Okay? Okay, continuing further, question: how important are references for a job search? What should I do if I don't have any on hand? References can be given by request. If the company haven't asked you, if they didn't ask you any references, don't worry about it. When they ask you for references, I'm sure you can give references to, you can reference a manager which you worked well with, a former colleague which you had a good relationship with. As long as they haven't asked for a specific person to give a reference on you, you can pretty much give a reference any former manager or any former colleague. They can tell your story the way that they would tell your story, and they would, let's say, will come up as a candidate and as a professional just like you would want to come up. Unless they ask for your former manager, in any case, as I said, they can't give negative information because it's forbidden by law. Okay, so next, what if they are micromanaging and looking over your shoulder? Okay, leave, of course. Micromanagement is the worst, one of the worst cases. It means that you will not be able to feel relaxed and to feel yourself in the position. You won't be able to do your job freely and to actually enjoy it. And if that is happening, then your answer is clear. Okay? From my recent experience, you will never change a toxic place. Allison, okay, this is a comment to Allison. Once you can't clean up nuclear waste up on your own. Okay, understandable. Soleil, hello, great answers. Thank you very much, Soleil. Okay, Allison, I tried to change it. It cost me a lot. Decided to leave, found references. I've got my new job. Yay. Top-down abusers. Was a shock to them when I told that I was leaving. Great. I asked this question to inspire others. My niece told me to walk away. Your previous videos and answers were the spot on. I feel better now knowing that I'm going away from cruel and mean people. I'm so happy to hear that, Allison. I'm really happy that you are starting a new position and that you've managed to get out of a toxic workplace. Definitely not worth staying for money. So you've done the right decision. Sparky themes. Thank you, Marat. You are very welcome. As I said, guys, it was a pleasure being with you today. I really enjoyed the live stream. Thank you for your comments and questions and for thumb ups. As I said, if you have any further questions, write it as a comment below. For today, I'm done. I appreciate your time and your positive energy, positive vibes. I've actually enjoyed the stream. If you are not subscribed yet, then definitely go ahead and subscribe. And I see you in my next video coming up or next week. Thank you very much.